Hey folks, it's Spitz from Digital Pharma East in Philadelphia 2012. It's my pleasure to have John Pagliuca, VP of Business Development at Qforma. They designed physician networks, and everybody's talking about peer-to-peer in the HCP space. Can you share your unique value proposition and some of the benefits that you ultimately offer your physicians as well as maybe some of the sponsors?
Absolutely, and thank you for the opportunity. For the last 7-8 years, we've been developing influence mapping technology for the pharma and biotech space. What makes us very unique are the fact that we're not surveying physicians, we're identifying physicians based on data and based on trends and patterns, and that's giving pharmaceutical companies, targeted networks and targeted identification of physicians and meanings to why do physician networks migrate and move the way they do. Ultimately, it becomes a messaging strategy. Why do physicians in Minnesota act differently and operate differently than physicians in Boston, as an example? That becomes part of their digital and overall branding strategy of how to market products and get the products in the right hands of the right patients.
Absolutely, and when you're talking about physician networks, are we talking about peer-to-peer platforms analogous to Sermo?
Yes. One difference being that, again, we're not surveying physicians. There's no feedback coming from those physicians, but yes, that they are peer-to-peer networks in a given disease state, and how are those networks evolving and changing over time based on their surroundings, based on digital media and any other process that might be taking place in and around that disease state.
Is part of your responsibility then recruiting for these networks? How are these networks created, sustained? Can you share some of the functional aspects from the physician point of view?
Sure. We don't actually interact directly with the physicians, so we're completely unbiased when it comes down to physician-based feedback. We're working solely with third-party data, patient-level data, physician-level data, identifying those networks. That empowers our clients, the pharmaceutical and the biotech companies, to then go to those physicians and identify what makes them different. Why do they influence their peers? How do they influence their peers? And how could they then further identify patients of interest that truly need their products?
So I'm starting to understand. It's not contextual messaging or influencing, but it's more a passive metrics and analytics to see what kind of engagement patterns are available for physicians within these networks?
Correct. I'd use the term quantitative.
Okay.
So passive, quantitative, 6 in 1 half dozen, of course.
Right.
But absolutely, and that's the beauty of the model, is it's completely unbiased at the network level. That's what gives the clients the opportunity to then go ahead and refine that model with the qualitative knowledge and qualitative data. And then in terms of how does digital media play a role into that? How does it affect physicians' patterns and movements? That gives them the messaging strategy that they're looking for.
I have some experience in metrics, analytics, and engagement, and one of the pain points, which I found is particularly difficult, is sharing reporting in a way that's meaningful to the client. Could you share some of the way that you approach storytelling, so ultimately extracting meaningful data and insights from what I'm assuming is just a treasure trove of information that you're extracting from these physician networks?
Absolutely. The best quantitative data are augmented by qualitative data. So we take our information direct down to the rep level with feedback, but we keep it as simple as possible, whether that the delivery mechanism are an existing CRM or a web-based tool that simply identifies, I'm connected to you and you're connected to me. What does that mean for my given day or my given week or my message or my messaging strategy, and how does that then roll up to the national level from a programming standpoint? So we keep it as simple as possible at the physician level for them. Don't try to oversimplify it. Again, we've got the Ferrari driving the car, but ultimately it's the driver driving it and shifting from gear 1 through 5. Keep it simple, keep it straightforward, and keep the message simple.
And it's ultimately the nuts and bolts of exactly what they're doing within the digital space. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what have you seen? I mean, what astonishes me within the physician space is that level of engagement has been just exponentially increasing. Older and older physicians are actually embracing, thanks, I think, to a large extent, the iPad, which has revolutionized health, mobile health, and the like. Have you seen that, and has that actually enabled you to do even more and provide even more insights and analytics for your clients?
It does. You're finding that physicians that are older in nature are becoming more expert-based in a given disease. They're actually seeing less patients. We're seeing that, so from a local perspective, they're seeing less patients, but they're more specialized in nature, so they're being more referred to as local level experts and leaders in a given community for diabetes, for example, or for hypertension, or for oncology, whatever it might be. So we're seeing that dynamic shift, and they are adhering to the iPad or the Samsung tablet or whatever it might be, our tools are implemented via those platforms to keep it simple, and that message becomes simple and straightforward. As you know, reps don't have much time to spend with physicians, so as pointed as they can be with those devices, whether it's a digital delivery mechanism or non-personal delivery mechanism, however that's worked out, it gives those folks empowers them to get that message out clear and smoother.
Absolutely, and we're talking about individual channels, but now everyone's talking about the second, the third, the fourth screen. Are there fresh approaches to kind of correlating that digital experience from a full 360 multi-channel kind of point of view?
We're seeing that. We're seeing that now. We're seeing that what we do becomes sort of step one and step two of the process, and we're starting to see that third and fourth layer, if you will, start being modeled in with the digital media space. So we often partner and work with a lot of agencies that are creating these digital media programs and then utilizing the data that we're providing and putting those messages out to those physicians. So we're aggressively seeing that. We've been embracing that now for about 3 or 4 years. So we've been a bit on the forefront behind the scenes. Right. But we're happy to be in the forefront with the digital leaders that are making it happen today.
Thanks so much, John. It's Spitz learning about Qforma, extracting insights and valuable knowledge from physician networks at Digital Pharma East, Philadelphia 2012. Spitz out. Thanks.